Today I'm going to give you a crash course on how to turn your parasite-prone koi princess into a fish fortress, and who will naturally fight off all parasites all year round, and the best thing about it, it won't cost you a penny. In this video, I'm going to go into the 6 main areas where most people get things wrong. Most of it's so simple, at the end of the video, you may end up kicking yourself for getting it wrong for all these years. So we're aware that thousands of koi people may watch this and take offense to this video. Again, like we said in all our other videos, if you've been doing it another way and you find it works for you, just ignore what we're saying and carry on with what you've been doing. But I also know there are thousands of koi keepers out there that struggle with parasites. And there are also people that have left the hobby altogether. They've lost all their fish stock, filled their ponds in, and to their knowledge, they were doing everything by the book. So what is a koi princess? So a koi princess, in our opinion, is a fish that just hasn't been treated like a fish, or how it's meant to, or how it's evolved from naturally in the wild. It is where in good faith you think you're providing a better or an enhanced environment, with things like heating your pond during the winter, covering your pond up in the colder months as well, keeping them in high stock ponds and overfeeding them to naturally enhance their growth. It's also keeping them in plant-free environments with super saturated, aerated water. And in your own eyes, it's a pristine palace with crystal clear water and not a speck of dirt in sight. And if your poor fish just thought about flashing on the bottom, he would be straight out the pond under the microscope with a skin scrape. So of course, all the above is complete opposite to what the fish naturally require. So messing around with any animal's natural environment can come with high consequences. Speaking of nature, we're huge advocates of the natural approach. Well, if it doesn't happen in the wild, well, it's obvious. Don't do it at home. So if you're new to the channel, it's only been going for over just a year. We've become really popular with fish lovers all over the world because of our honesty, we're straight to the point, and we don't bullshit you. Join the rest, click on the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Our videos aren't fancy, but hopefully they'll give you good value. So before I go on, there's one thing I need to tell you. It may baffle you, but it is the truth. It's natural for fish to have parasites. If you have a healthy pond and your fish are healthy, parasites will come and go, but they'll naturally fend them off. Fortunately, it's the fish with crap immune systems that have no chance, and they're very, very prone for parasites and other infections. Infestations are obviously not good, and they can be fatal to your fish. But if your fish are healthy and their immune system's up to par, infestations will simply not happen. So one of the other important factors you need to understand is that parasites and infections like this, they're called secondary infections. There are other factors that can stress your fish out, but water quality is the main one. The primary cause is usually water quality, but other primary causes could be something simple like your fish has just scraped himself on the side of the pond and then it's become infected. Secondary infections are usually stress related. There are other factors that can stress your fish out, but water quality is the main one. As fish become more stressed, their immune system levels will drop, and therefore it makes them more prone to parasite or other bacterial infections. So as the water is the main cause, even if you've done all your water quality tests or the usual ammonium nitrites and nitrates and everything is okay, trust me, there's something else in the water that's pissing your fish off. Okay, so the first thing you should start off with water temperature. Parasites and fluctuating water temperatures, to be honest, is a bad mix. Especially come the spring, as the water temperature warms up, the fish become more active. Guess who becomes active too? The parasites. So humans being humans, if you think that parasites become more active in the spring because the water's warmed up from the cold winter months, surely it will make sense to warm the water up all through winter. Therefore, that would rule out parasites coming back in the spring, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. Remember, if it doesn't happen in the wild, it shouldn't happen in your pond. So over the years, your fish have got used to having seasons. So you need to let them have their seasons in order for their immune system to work. They will naturally build up fat reserves in the summer and autumn period, and then they can fully rest over the winter, give them the best possible ability to naturally fight off parasites come the spring. So come the spring, you may see, and it's quite common to see your fish flashing around on the bottom. This is normal. Let them do it. They'll fend them off naturally. So remember, as your fish go dormant during the winter, so do pond parasites and harmful bacteria. And again, this is what they've been doing for thousands of years, so it's really important just to let them do it. And also never mind, the heating bills will be a lot lower. You don't have to get out those ridiculous pond covers to cover everything up. So next thing is overstocking and overfeeding. So again, if you've already been doing this and it's worked for you, just ignore what we're saying and crack on. But for those of you that want to listen, overstocking and overfeeding is probably one of the worst things you can do for any pond. So one of the first problems about overstocking, your pond won't be able to produce a natural amount of food. Natural food will always have amazing health benefits. Again, if it's natural, it's going to work wonders. So the other problems with overstocking, if you went down to a pond or a lake and you scoop out the exact same volume as your pond and you could put it in front of you, I can guarantee you probably wouldn't have a single fish in that volume of water. So I'm not suggesting you follow this ratio, but it is important to keep your levels low. If you have it too high, you're asking for trouble. For some reason, in the koi industry, some people are obsessed with trying to grow huge fat koi extremely quickly and having high stock levels. So the byproduct of when you feed your fish and your filters have broken everything down, you end up with high levels of nitrate and phosphate in your water. So as most koi keepers don't keep plants in the ponds which would naturally absorb these levels, you end up having to change water all the time, and some people even use systems where they constantly keep the tap running to flush all the nitrates and phosphates out. Although nitrates and phosphates aren't a fish killer, it can stress them out in high levels, and then again, fish are stressed out and then they're more prone to infection from parasites and other infections. So another thing to remember, in the wild, the water quality does not change. It's constant all the time. And this is what fish have got used to and evolved to. So again, if you're overfeeding in your pond, there's always a chance that your water quality may imbalance, and only needs to balance a slight amount to cause stress on your fish. Okay, the next thing let's talk about is a plant-free koi pond. Now, if you can take any advice from me from this video, especially if you haven't built a pond already, you need to incorporate plants. Hands down, it's one of the best things you can do for your pond. You literally, no matter where you go across the world where you find these fish swimming around naturally, there's always plants present. Yes, there may be a little bit more work to do. Yes, the leaves may fall in, you may have to take them out a little bit. Just a little bit more maintenance is required. But it's the same thing with any animal. If you had a dog, you still have to take them out for walks and do everything that they need. So why for koi shouldn't it be the same? If you really want a healthy pond, trust me, plants will literally do the job for you. They have multiple benefits to your pond. One of the best ones, they absorb phosphates and nitrates really quickly. They provide a home for all sorts of organisms, beneficial bacteria and food for your fish. It will also provide a more natural habitat, so when your fish do graze around looking for food, they'll feel more at home. And another one of the main reasons why lots of koi keepers are too scared or worried about having plants is they think they're home for parasites and other bacteria. But the whole point of this video is if your fish are healthy, it really doesn't matter whether they're there or not. And also, if you have a good selection of plants in your pond, I mean, they look awesome in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with me that you bring a lot of other insects and wildlife to the pond, but also under the water is great for your fish's own mental stimulation. A lot of people may say, well, you can't keep plants with koi, and that is absolute rubbish. All you have to do is use a little bit of common sense when you plant them, is to position your plants in a way so the koi can't actually get to the compost. And if you've already built your pond and you haven't got any shelves, you can get floating plants. But even if you didn't want to have any plants in the pond, take it a step further, build a vegetable filter, which is basically, if you didn't know what that is, it's like another filter system away from the pond, but it's just full of your plants, and all the water goes through your plants back into your pond. Okay, next on the agenda is over aeration. So as I keep harping on about keeping things natural, koi are not naturally found in mountain streams. So why the hell is everyone trying to replicate one? I've seen so many koi ponds with about 10 air pumps in the filter room, and then they've got another about 15 aerated bottom drains. There's bubbles everywhere. So everyone knows, yes, fish need oxygen, but how much oxygen do they need? Again, naturally, these fish come from low oxygenated mud ponds. That's where they're most happy, and that's where they thrive the best. Again, if it's not natural, you will just increase their stress levels. It's as simple as that. So if you've got a normal stock pond with a filter system running, you won't believe how much aeration is actually happening in your pipework just from the movement of water alone. So as your water is running through your system, oxygen is saturating into the water. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's there. You don't have to have bubbles everywhere just to have oxygenated water. Another thing to remember, in the summer, warm water doesn't hold as much oxygen as it does in the winter. So if you have a heavily stocked pond, which you don't recommend, you may need an air pump running. Normal stocked ponds, you may not even need an air pump whatsoever. And then in the winter, it's complete opposite. You won't even need to have an air pump on at all. Cold water holds so much oxygen, it's crazy. And the nice thing about that, with all the expensive electricity prices we all have to pay in the winter, you can save some money on your air pump. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the koi cage. I am going to do another video about that in depth a bit more shortly, so I'm just going to touch on this one a little bit today. So a koi cage is a pond that we call basically a sterile box with nothing in it but water and some fish. So if you own one of these ponds, do me a favour before you get upset about the video. Get your phone, if it's waterproof, or a GoPro, put it under the water and see things from your fish's point of view. All you'll see, it's just completely bare, there's nothing in it. That's all I'm going to say. But remember, we're talking about parasites. If you don't want parasites, you need to reduce your fish's stress levels, and swimming around in a tank like this isn't going to do them much good. Okay, and the final thing we talk about is microscopes and skin scrapes. So this must be one of the most counterproductive things you could ever do when owning koi carp. So remember, this is all about stress. So what's the first thing you do when you think your fish has got a parasite? You grab your net and you chase them around the pond, God knows for how long for, until you finally catch them. So you finally caught your fish and you're ready to do a skin scrape. Now if you didn't know this already, the mucus on your fish is one of the first lines of defences against all parasites. How do you do a skin scrape? You have to scrape off a section of their mucus and put it under the microscope. And a lot of the time, people aren't just taking one skin scrape, they're taking multiple skin scrapes of multiple fish. And then the funny thing is, once they've done their scrapes, they upload it onto a forum or onto YouTube because they haven't got a clue what they're actually looking for. Remember, you aren't a fish scientist. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. But again, remember, if you look after your fish in your pond properly, a microscope will be the last thing on your shopping list. If you can treat your fish like a fish and how they're meant to be treated, trust me, it's an easy ride. They're one of the easiest fish to keep, hence why you find them all over the world. So that's all I'm going to say today. I hope this has helped you. If it has, do the YouTube thing, click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching.